Well, hey, y'all, I'm Melanie Redd, and I want to welcome you to Ordinary Women, Extraordinary God videos. And we've been doing this now this year, and it's been so much fun. I'm getting to introduce you to some of the most amazing people. And it's our joy to work in tandem with the Ministries of Love We're Finding. And our hope is we do a podcast, we have social media, we send emails, but we thought it would be fun if you could see and hear what we look like and be a part of what we're talking about via video. So I'm also excited because I get to introduce you to some women that I think are amazing. And today I get to introduce you to my friend, Abby McDonald. We're friends online. And I first, got acquainted with you, Abby, through your book. It's called Shift, Changing Our Focus and Seeing the Presence of God. And I love her book. And we kind of see each other in social media and leave each other messages. And I just thought she would be a really interesting and amazing woman for you to get to know. So grab a cup of coffee or tea and join us for a few minutes as we have a conversation. And I just want to say, welcome, Abby. We're so glad you're here today.
Thank you, Melanie. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you for joining us. And tell us just a little bit about you. Introduce yourself and tell us who you are.
Well, like Melanie said, I'm Abby McDonald. I'm an author and a writing coach. I am the mother to three beautiful children. Their ages range from 14 as my oldest. I have two boys. They're 14 and 11. And then my youngest little girl is 6 years old. I am originally a Southern girl. I'm from South Carolina, grew up there, lived there for the first 28 years of my life. And then, as life would have it, when I got married, God just took my husband and I all over the country. And so we currently reside in Western Maryland. We're on the mountainside of Maryland. And yeah, I love ministering to women through the written word and just helping women to find the hope of Christ in the midst of life's messes and not waiting until they get to the other side of it to see him in the middle of what's going on in their daily lives.
Well, that's great. That's great. And I love her writing. She's a wonderful writer. And I didn't know you were a writing coach. So that's cool. I just realized I was looking at some of your things today. And so you're able to help people with their books. Tell me a little bit about that. What do you do as a writing coach?
Sure. Yeah, that's exactly it, Melanie. And not just with books, just with the process of writing, a lot of women, they know they have a story to tell. They know that they want to share it, but they're hung up on what's next. And there's just so much information that's out there. It can be very overwhelming and you can be paralyzed by that. And so I help women identify what their goal is and what their next step is in their unique journey and help them reach those goals.
That's cool. Well, we'll in the notes below, we'll make a link so people can get in touch with you if they want to ask some questions. And we'll also mention your book if you'd like to look up her book. So let me ask you this. Our theme is ordinary women pursuing an extraordinary God. So how are you an ordinary woman? How are you just one of the girls?
In every way you can think of, really, Melanie. I'm ordinary because I have my own weaknesses, my own insecurities. I still wake up some days and I'm like, am I really 44? Like I don't feel like I'm that age. Sometimes I still feel like that middle school girl, who's trying to find their place in the lunchroom and trying to find her group of friends or whatnot. Like I mentioned before, I've moved around a lot. And so God has really forced me to step outside my comfort zone quite a few times. When I was growing up, I was more of the introverted person who just kind of kept to herself. And God's used those experiences to just break me out of my shell a little bit, and to just put me in situations that made me a little uncomfortable. And so, yeah, I'm an ordinary person because I struggle day to day, just like anyone else. But like you mentioned, my book is called Shift, and part of that is just keeping my focus on God's power and strength in me rather than my own weakness. And
Yeah,
so,
that's such a good goal. I have to tell you something funny as you were talking. I was thinking we used to get with the senior ladies, like ladies in their 80s, Sunday school class at our church. And I
yeah.
remember sitting around one day, and they were cute as they could be, and they looked and they said, "Look, I know we look old, but we still think we're about 20. We just are all wrinkled now." And I think that's
Yeah.
the way all of us are. We feel 20 even though we get older. So we
Mhm.
can relate to you that we're ordinary as well. Well, let me ask you this. How has God been extraordinary to you?
God has been extraordinary just because He has seen dreams and desires inside of me that honestly I didn't even know I had, that I didn't even know existed. And He has just brought those to life in me. Even the dream to write, that's one that I did know that I have from a very young age, but it wasn't something that I ever saw as practical or something that I would see come to fruition. And he's just brought opportunities to share that. He's brought an opportunity for me to write for the Proverbs 31 encouragement for today team. That was a dream that I had for years. That really, there were times I didn't think it would ever happen. And God, he opens the doors that he wants us to walk through. And I've just been faithful in doing that. And he has done the rest.
Yeah, you're so right. It's like we don't think he knows our address, he knows our phone number, he knows the desires of our hearts. And don't you love when he just does something and surprises us? It sounds like he's surprised you with some of the ways he's answered your prayers and just blessed you and used you. So I love that. And it sounds like you're a little bit more of an introvert. And I think somebody watching will be encouraged to know that God uses introverts too.
Mhm.
Right? And
Definitely.
introverts write books too, and have ministries too. And so it's okay if you're not super outgoing, or you're more quiet, or you're more reserved. God can use you too. So that's a great word. God is faithful, and he knows where we are, and he knows the desires of our heart. So I love hearing all that. Let me ask you this. What are you looking forward to this year? What are you excited about in this year? You got some things that you're kind of praying through. It sounds like you got another book opportunity, or you were talking about writing for Proverbs 31. Are you thinking about another book, or you got other things?
I am in the process of writing a proposal for another book, Melanie, and so that's definitely something I'm looking forward to is getting that finished and sending that to my agent. It's a topic that God just keeps reiterating in my life over and over, and so I'm super excited to share that and to see where God leads with that. And yeah, I'm excited to just continue ministering in our local community and getting involved with our church and their women's ministry and the different Bible studies they have going on there. And God has just really instilled a desire into me to really connect with the people he puts around me,
Yeah.
and not just people online, but the people that I see day to day and that I interact with.
That's good. Are you seeing where you are in Maryland that the world is opening back up and people are getting back together in real life again?
They are, yeah. And it's something I missed so much. And
Yeah.
so,
And I
yeah.
think you're right about just being aware of the people around us. Yesterday, I had a delivery brought to my house, and the girl came to my door and she was smiling really big and she wanted to talk. And I thought, you know what? There's people everywhere. And it's not just at church or in ministry. There's people that are checking us out at a store or helping us, or that come into our businesses, or we're serving us a meal. And we have such an opportunity to share the love of Jesus with people every single day. So that's a
Amen.
great word. And I am enjoying not wearing a mask, being able to smile at people, and just being able to have conversations in real life again. It's fun. I'm with
It
you on
is.
that.
It's such a gift.
What has God been teaching you? Is there some book of the Bible you're studying? Maybe there's a verse or a passage or a book you're reading. What are you excited about spiritually? What's God doing in your life?
Yeah, a number of things really. I've been in the book of Ephesians. I think that's just because our pastor has been stuck in that book for some time now. And it's funny, because I mean, it's a book I'm very familiar with, I've read a number of times, and God just keeps revealing new things to me in that book. And one of those things is that God has really given us everything that we need to live the lives that he has called us to live. And I think a lot of times we get it stuck in these seasons where we're kind of waiting for God to come down, like we're waiting for him to come down to where we're at to empower us to do what he wants us to do. And what our pastor keeps emphasizing is that he's already done that. He's already given us what we need. And our job is just to walk in the gifts and to receive those gifts that he's already given us. And so God's really challenged me to do that on a new level this year. And yeah, I'm just, praying for myself to have the open hands and the open heart to do that and to walk in his leading.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the book of Ephesians. There's so many great verses. I was thinking about Ephesians 3:20 the other day, where he's done exceedingly abundantly beyond all that we could ask or think. And you're right, it's the finished work of Christ. We just have to walk in it. So that's a good reminder. Yeah, absolutely. Sounds like your pastor's a good pastor.
He is. He
Yes.
is.
Sounds like you're in a good church. Well, let me ask you, how, if people want to get in touch with you, they're like, okay, I want to know about the book you've already written. I don't want to miss out when your new book comes out, whenever that's going to be, or I'd like to know about those Proverbs 31 devotions. And I know those are free. And so if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
They can go on over to abbymcdonald.org, and I have a free ebook that they can receive if they sign up for email updates. And yeah, those devotions with Proverbs 31 Ministries that they can find at proverbs31.org.
That's great.
Sign up to receive those.
And so I'll make sure we have all those links so that people can get in touch with you. Well, I always like to ask people, because sometimes I talk with folks on the podcast and here, and they had one more thing that they want to share. So is there anything else you'd really like to share? A word of wisdom, a verse, an encouragement, a quote, anything you want? What you got for us?
Sure, Melanie. Well, I'll just share what God keeps pressing on my heart, that I feel like this is kind of my season. It's something that I'm touching on in this book proposal I'm writing, but that discerning the voice of God isn't really as complicated as I think we often make it. And I say that because I talk to so many women who are just kind of paralyzed, with this concept of, is that really God? Did God really say? And isn't that the question that the serpent asked Eve in the garden? And it's still the same question that he continues to ask us today. And it can make us live lives that are stagnant. And so one thing that's been empowering me when I get stuck in that cycle is I ask myself, does it glorify God?
Yeah.
Does it love his people?
Yeah.
And is it showing my love for him? And if the answer to those questions is yes, then be empowered and just go forward in his love.
That's good.
Because I don't think that God is going to, chastise us for doing those things that line up with his character. And so
I love that. One of our most popular podcasts, and it's actually from an outline by Pastor Adrian Rogers, who started our ministry, and it's all on finding the will of God. And he talks about that, how it's not, we're making it way too complicated. So I'll link that too, because I think it's 5 or 6 ways to find the will of God. And it's just real simple things about what you're doing every day that help you to walk in what he's wanting you to do. And so I'll mention that for sure. But this has been so good. And I love Abby's a deep thinker. She's not quite as hyper as me. But that's what I love. I want you to get to meet, as you're watching these, all kinds of women, and realize There are so many women who are pursuing Christ and who love Jesus, and they look and sound completely different. And so thank you for joining us today. This has been a lot of fun, and I really appreciate you and your ministry. And I just want to say as we go that really our passion at Ordinary Women, Extraordinary God is to encourage you. And we want to encourage you to laugh without fear of the future. And we are ordinary women, but we are pursuing an extraordinary God. And we want you. So this again, we'll be doing this again. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question, you want to reach Abby, you'll be able to link to her. And also, if you want to say something to her or to me, it is always good to hear from you. So please get in touch with us. Send us a note or a message. We love to hear from you. So God bless you. Hope you have a great week. Until next time.